I was working at the Kaler's Pond Audubon Center in Santa Mauritius, and when I was trained, I started surveying around that area for dragonflies, and I was living in an area where they were spraying for mosquitoes, and I would hear the helicopters going over. But what I found out is the few federal parks that we had, I found out they're not allowed to spray in the federal parks. And one of them was the William Floyd Estate, another one was over by Smith Point. And what I was doing was I was actually looking for dragonflies in the park in William Floyd Estate. And I found some in there that I didn't find outside of the park. And some of them were some of the rarer species. And because my concern also was the chemicals being dropped on the coastline, because we do have some dragonflies that live all along the coast and the brackish water. And believe it or not, I didn't find as many dragonflies in those areas. The dragonflies, they live in the water from 1 to 6 years. They only live out of the water for like 3 weeks. So if they're in the water for 6 years, they would be exposed to those chemicals being dropped on them year after year, and they probably wouldn't survive. They do eat a lot of mosquito larvae. One of the things that I noticed with dragonflies is every time I surveyed them, the more pristine the area was and the water was, the more diversity of dragonflies that I saw. They seem to like vernal ponds, or which are fishless ponds, but the problem is they're usually shallow and they don't have a lot of water exchange. So if there's like spraying of houses or chemicals, the runoff would go in the water and kill them. So I found a few pristine areas where I found dragonflies there where I didn't find a lot of them outside that area. Some of them were in Manaville. They have some vernal ponds there. The dragonflies, they live in the water from 1 to 6 years. And during that time, if there's yearly spraying, it will go into the water. And over time, the dragonfly larva would die or be killed, depending on how much spraying was done in the area. I did studies in the area, and I did not find a lot of dragonflies in areas that were heavily sprayed. That was why I went to the Federal Reserve that was right there too, just to see if there was any difference. And I did see a difference in dragonflies from the Federal Reserve to where they were spraying just a few miles away. Basically, the better the water quality, the more diversity of species we have, the more dragonfly larvae we have, and the more that they will eat mosquito larvae. So they're a top predator in a pond or in water. So if you're killing them off, then you have nothing to keep mosquito larvae and other insects in check.